Have you ever wondered why some people can't get along? Especially Christians. Why shouldn't we be able to get along with each other? When you're reading through Matthew 18 today, you're going to discover three essential ingredients or elements that need to be there in your life to bring about unity. Let me give them to you right from the start. You need to have humility, you need to have honesty, and you need to have the ability to forgive. Can I give it to you this way? Humility. As you open up chapter 18, verses 1 through 14, he's going to talk about humility. Now, why did he bring that up? Because the disciples were arguing about who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, or who's the greatest amongst themselves. You'll never have unity when you have to decide who's the best or who's the greatest. He who wants to be the greatest must be servant of all. That's what Jesus really says. Well, in Matthew chapter 18, as it opens up, they were arguing about who's the greatest. You can also see this in Mark chapter 9, verses 33 and 34. You can also see it in Luke chapter 9, verse 46. But let me read you Mark chapter 9. It says it this way. They came to Capernaum. When he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the way?" But they were silent, because on the way they had been arguing with one another about who was the greatest. Warren Wiersbe says this about humility. Humility is an attitude about yourself that when you know you have it, you've lost it. So, as you read down through this chapter today, ask the Lord to make you humble and contrite in your heart. Have humility. The opposite of humility is pride. And what does pride lead to? Pride leads to contention between you and others, because if they hurt your pride, then you get upset and you go at them. Proverbs 13:10 says it this way, only by pride comes contention. But once that contention occurs, then you have to have that second element. You have to be honest. You have humility, then you have honesty. And honesty, as you look at it in verses 15 to 20 here, you go to that person, just to that person. Keep it private. You don't go to a lot of other people. If somebody offends you, go to him alone. Secondly, if that doesn't accomplish it, then you get some assistance, some help from 2 or 3 other godly people in the church. If that doesn't work, then you take it to the church, but not the details. You're just trying to be honest, because God's word says we're to speak the truth in what? Love. But we're to speak the truth. You don't ignore the truth. So there's humility, and there's honesty. But the bottom line is, if there's going to be some unity in the church or in your family or at your work, there's got to be forgiveness, because nobody's perfect. And starting at verse 21 all the way to the end here, he's going to talk about forgiveness. And he's going to use Peter as an example, because Peter says this, "Then Peter approached Jesus and asked, 'Lord, how many times must I forgive my brother or sister who has sinned against me? As many as 7 times? And then Jesus' answer was almost impossible. 70 times 7 times. So many times that you won't even remember. You've lost count. Why? Because forgiveness reveals love. Because you're going to speak the truth in love. And love keeps no record of wrong, 1 Corinthians 13 says. So as you go through this text today, I want you to look for humility in your life. I want you to ascertain whether you're being honest, but in love. You don't go at somebody, you don't go at them. You just speak the truth in love. And then forgiveness. Will you do that today?